Yes, of course. And hello, welcome to another scene for the Living World of Darkness, Changeling the Dreaming 20th Anniversary Edition venue set in the Kingdom of Apples, New York City. And today's scene takes place at the County of New Hope, the Freehold, where Leon resides-ish. He does not live there because that leads to Bedlam, but he does spend a copious amount of time there because Count. And today we have a Baroness gracing him with her presence. Arriving at the Freehold, Alice, what's up?
Alice is walking up. She's smiling brightly. Oh, nothing much.
Speaking to the narrator. Cool, cool, cool. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're doing well.
But Alice is dressed currently in another outfit from one of her performances. She's been doing a lot more rehearsals lately in Queens to save on time because she wants to stay there despite her manager's growing concern, perhaps. But she walks in currently dressed kind of gothic Lolita look, red ribbons in her pigtails, and she's just waiting to be seen.
This young individual, familiar to you perhaps, passes by as you're waiting. Baroness, good to see you.
Out of game, I forget, what is the term you use for a squire as a...
I don't know.
Her
first name, probably.
Miss Cassidy.
Yes, Baroness. How have you been doing? Is everything going well?
Tired. A little column A, a little column B because of the recent events.
The recent events?
You know, nightmares and what have you.
Oh, yes. They have been very troubling. Have you not managed to find a workaround that works for you?
Say that again?
Have you not managed to find a workaround that works for you?
I have, and I use it sparingly for good reason. Need to keep my wits about me just in case, lose my mind.
Oh, yeah, I can understand that. My knight had some concerns about that as well.
If this keeps going, I'm going to have to resort to my final solution.
Oh, that sounds troubling. What is your final solution?
Setting fire to the nightmares that come for me.
Is that a thing?
I'll find out.
Well, let me know how that goes for you, Baroness. Is there anything I can do for you while you're here in the County Freehold?
Yes, I have a meeting with Count Leon.
Oh, let me go check for you and see if I can announce you for him.
Thank you.
She scurries off. And a moment later, he's in his office. If you'll follow me.
Absolutely.
She opens the door. Baroness Alice Amari of Manhattan is here to see you. And she steps aside, and Leon is at his desk. He stands up when you're announced.
Alice will give him a deep curtsy and a smile.
And he'll return with a bow. Please have a seat, Baroness.
Thank you, she says. I really appreciate this, Count Leon.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to keep an open door policy, make sure things aren't burning down around me, as efficient as that's been. So, what can I do you for?
Well, good news. I am not setting fire to anything, so nothing's burning down around you.
Thank goodness for small miracles, I suppose.
She grins. Sometimes I wonder if that's a large one, but that's on me, and I'm trying to get better about it.
It's appreciated.
Which is why I'm coming to you with information about something I wanted to do before we implemented it. Or I should say before I go around talking to the other barons or baronesses.
Also appreciated. What exactly are you planning?
Um, a system that would work like a ferry subway,
Blink, blink.
interconnected freeholds with trods that are in one in each barony, which would allow us instantaneous transportation. I know there's some underserved members of the community who don't necessarily have the funds to take the subway or the mystical means to do so all the time. Many of us don't have cars,
Mhm.
and so I was thinking this might be beneficial. More importantly, with individuals taking these routes more frequently, it would be easier to keep an eye on the comings and goings of individuals who might be of interest.
You want to spy on people taking a magical train between baronies?
No, I'm just saying that were we to have another security situation, it'd be easier to keep an eye on those than, say, every single street in the city.
Pose. Uh, how exactly are you going to go about establishing this system and watchtower?
Formation of a freehold in each barony with guards and security provided by the local baron, baroness, or governee. Um, were individuals not willing to participate, then their barony or governee could opt out.
Can you work with the freeholds that are already currently linked?
That's one of the thoughts I had. However, the um, certain members of the council in Brooklyn have felt that that would be a too much of a security risk for them to be willing to take at this time.
So you want to establish a new freehold in each barony.
It's something I've been working towards and trying to gather the necessary resources so that the local baron or baroness or governor wouldn't have to provide the resources themselves. This is a long-term plan.
It sounds like it. I mean, only an insane person would think it could be handled overnight, right?
She thinks about that. Pretty much.
Hmm. If you can draw up plans for execution, I think I'll be able to wrap my head around whether or not I can improve it or not.
Would it be okay if I brought in the governors, baronesses, and barons of their respective um, governees, territories, um, to discuss it further with them?
Only if you feel like being polite about it, he says. Huga.
She smiles. I appreciate it. I wanted to make sure that we had approval before we did this. Didn't want to keep our illustrious liege out of the loop.
Of course, I mean, what kind of insane madman with diabolical plots I've yet to unfold would ever do something of this level of intensity without, uh, with the attitude of better to ask forgiveness than beg permission, right?
Right. And um, that brings me to the scum and villainy part.
Are you planning on incorporating scum and villainy into this ferry subway system?
No, we found there might be a problem. We don't know how widespread it is, but um,
Out with it.
Tulane,
I've been made aware of this situation by my knight. There's a politician in Queens. Is one of them.
why would one of them want to ascend to such a noteworthy and obvious role? I mean, doesn't that put them directly into the public's light so they're easier to find? I mean, who do something crazy like that?
Using the public's eye as a shield against, I don't know, people who would legitimately oppose your continued existence, you mean?
Okay, so I can name one person I know who did that, so that seems logical.
Hmm. So, yes. I suppose that would be somewhere along those lines.
Well, I guess he can't kill me publicly either, so that's something.
Hmm. I'm trying to think of what his name was. Jared. Jared. Uh, he, he like scratches his head for a moment. LWoD.
She'll nod her head. Well, I don't have any plans on moving against him.
Funny. I was going to suggest we send him on a one-way trip, courtesy of the children of the Tuatha.
You were?
Zero tolerance policy, Baroness Amari.
I will speak to Baroness Mariposa about it then.
Please do.
And we will try to be. No, we won't try. We will be 100% subtle about this one.
Well, that would be a refreshing approach.
I was thinking about setting fire to a bar, however,
Just a random bar?
filled with Tulane.
Better. What's the name of this place?
The King's Head.
Hmm.
It's in Manhattan. It turns out there's at least two possible locations for a Tulane hideout. They might have moved by now, because, well, you know, they might have heard about what happened in Brooklyn.
Who they've heard from.
That is a very good point.
Did you let anybody go on this excursion?
I believe that we brought everyone in and turned them over to you, unless some of them were
In
kept.
zero tolerance policy, Baroness Amari. I do not keep pets.
So I'm 100% authorized, if I come across them, to remove them from existence.
Execute with extreme prejudice. Of course, you must remember not to. He does like the gesture of like the all of you with your um, none of the flamboyant stuff that will upset the normals.
Of course. I was thinking more along the lines of what Misha does, or barring
For
that.
this, What does the councilwoman do?
Oh, she's very capable at, you know, turning off cameras and getting rid of things that would get in the way of upholding the sheet.
Fascinating.
While I'm not as technologically gifted, I do know that cameras burn.
Face palm. Indeed, Baroness Amari, many things burn. Very few things burn discreetly.
She nods her head, which is why I was trying to learn to take a different route. Also, why I'm hiring, you know, more subtle security for my next concert.
I appreciate that.
I mean, you don't get much more subtle than Hall and Caldwell and Councilman William.
Yes, because when I look at Councilman Black, I think subtle.
You do?
Daily. You just
Oh,
like
I'm sure
like
Councilman Black
he
will be very glad to hear that. That you think of him so often.
I'm sure it'll send him right through the roof.
But I just wanted to make sure that this information was passed on. I have worked with Baroness Mariposa for a new concert. We do have security. And I beg your permission to make the occasional daytime foray into Manhattan for the purpose of upholding the sheet.
How is the say in a sheet thing?
The right of ignorance.
What does your presence in Manhattan do to uphold the right of ignorance?
Making sure that I'm making appearances in multiple locations is going to be beneficial to keeping people from looking too much further into why I made a sudden trip to Queens for an extended stay. It's not going to be often, it's not going to be always, but I feel that this would be beneficial to that purpose.
Very well. Mari has those little butterfly pins. Make sure that you have ears in Queens.
Of course. I appreciate your understanding in this matter. I wish not to compound my earlier mistake.
I trust that you're trying to learn from your mistakes. You're new to this and attempting to grow, and I try my best not to cut leaders off at the knees. It's hard enough in this county to maintain the trust of the civilians.
And I've come to understand through not just our past interactions, but the recent developments in my own life, how correct you were in punishing me for my actions, and not only that, what course I needed to take going forward. It wasn't just about being a good leader, it's about being an example, being a good person, and more than anything else, keeping everyone in mind, not just my own mission.
Sounds like you're on the right track. Just make sure that you keep an eye on Queens and that most of your time is spent there. If, for the sake of keeping eyes off of you for whatever reason, requires you to make a day trip elsewhere, make sure Mari knows ahead of time.
Of course. There's one other thing I wanted to talk to you about, my liege.
Out with it.
I have yet to meet with this Mr. Monday. And Sir Kararis has informed me of everything that he knows I should keep in mind, so I don't make a similar mistake. Are there any things you know that I should be aware of going into that meeting, etiquette-wise?
They don't like the doubly word. But I suppose treat them as though they are either your equal or direct superior. And approach all conversation with respect. I don't know, come bearing gifts.
I'll keep that in mind. I was told that they liked normal food, so maybe chocolates?
I have no idea.
Well, thank you for your time. I appreciate all of this, Count Leon.
Have a good day, Baroness. And he stands up and bows.
She will stand and give a curtsy. To your health and continued service to the city. Thank you.
Have a good day. And
He'll sit back down, and unless there's anything else you need.
Nope, that was the quick scene I needed. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, players, for playing. Thank you, watchers, for watching, and we'll see you next time.